Hello again, everyone, at Speed Stuff for Charity 8. I'm Ozmourn. I just did the Superliminal All Easter Eggs run, and now I'm here doing Lightmatter, any percent, no major glitches. This is actually not my first speed game, but the first speed game that I became really passionate about, the one that made me fall in love with speedrunning, and I am so glad to show it off here at Speed Stuff for Charity 8. Would my commentators care to introduce themselves?
Okay, yeah. So my name is Bobby Berm. I'm one of the speedrunners of this game. I haven't done a ton of speedruns recently, but I'm a big part of the community and helping out with the approvals of the runs and everything. And yeah, just part of the greater community.
Speedrun game that I really love.
Wonderful. Thank you both for being here. And quick story before we begin. The run that kind of got me into this game was Bobby himself running this game at AGDQ 2021.
Aww.
And it's ever since then I fell in love with this game. I fell in love with the community. And thanks to Bobby, we're here today at Speed Stuff for Charity 8. And it's an honor to have him here on the couch with me commentating. But without further ado, before we begin, we're going to go here and we're going to put on speedrun stats just so we can make this run verifiable in the case of PBs. But time will begin once I press level 1 here. So I'll give a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Bobby, do you mind explaining the main mechanics behind this game? Give a good introduction.
Yeah, for sure. So this is Lightmatter. We're doing the no major glitches run, which is basically we're staying inbounds, playing the game more or less as intended, right? So basically what we're first going to see here is we're kind of in a disheveled kind of facility. It looks like pretty broken down, and we don't really know what's happening, and we're kind of in this first person perspective. The idea behind this game being the floor is lava, but with shadows. So anytime you step on a shadow, it will basically kill you. So these first couple levels are different, but we'll get into that in a second. One other thing I did want to mention was that with these stairs, when you're going upstairs, it's slightly faster just to hop up them instead of just plain running up them, just to save a little bit of time. But it really adds up over the course of the run.
Yes. And, Lycos, do you mind explaining some of the story that we're going to be missing when we speed through this game?
Yeah, the story, we don't actually get much in the beginning. We wake up in, this part of this facility, everything is broken. But right here, we will meet Virgil, the disembodied voice we will hear, every now and then. He's basically the GLaDOS of this game. Seeing what he is doing with Lightmatter, how we manage the shadows and all the other characters.
Part of the story is something that really interested me when we first played this game casually. So if after today you even want to play it just for that, I would highly recommend picking it up on Steam. It's a wonderful game. Right here, I like to just jump up here on this locker because there's a shadow here, but since this is the tutorial section, the shadow doesn't kill you. And another thing is that there's a glitch that we use in ILs that where if you quit to the main menu but then immediately press escape and then hit restart level, the game will save your position, but everything else in the level will return back to how it was when you first entered it. With that being said, you can enter this door early before all this light comes up, and it'll just be dark. It'll just be a shadow, but you can just walk straight into the elevator and trigger the end of the level. However, we don't use it in full runs. Again, it's not really viable outside of ILs. The reason being is because whenever you perform that, since you're quitting title and then restarting level, the game thinks you're in level 1. So whenever you perform that glitch in other levels, the game will just immediately wrong warp you back to the beginning of level 2. So it's really not all that useful outside of ILs, but shout out to our glitch hunter Valcor for finding that and a lot of other stuff that we're going to see in this game. But yeah, let's run. We're just gonna leave and go to safety, right?
Exactly.
Great game. Was
Good
fun.
game.
GG's, that's it. Oh wait, what's happening?
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
I think you put the level down on the points.
Yeah. I should have put it down and checked. But with that, there is Lightmatter. Title card. Lycos, you want to explain, now that we're getting into the mechanics, you want to explain a bit more in detail how it's going to work?
What's gonna work?
How the main mechanic behind this game, like the shadows and stuff.
Yeah, shadows are all over the ground. You can see them pretty grey-like, obsidian-like tar, something like that. If you walk or jump into it, then, well, you sink into it. Here you have the first example of a little parkour. We can just jump over it when the light turns back on, and that's pretty much, yeah, well, that's it.
Bob, you want to explain this trick right here that we're going to do?
Yeah, so basically with this trick, there's button pressing that you can do where if you hit a button, there's like a little bit of lag time in between actual things moving and when you hit the button. So we abuse that here. So we kind of quickly like press the button in order to have like a couple second window to get through that little bit of area instead of having to go all the way around, which saves like 2 or 3 seconds for this level. Really difficult, but did it perfectly there. And then coming up here, this level, it's like a minute-long puzzle you're supposed to do, but because we're speedrunners, we skip the whole thing. We jump on this pole and we call it good.
Yep. The world record for this is about 18 seconds, 18.6 seconds, I believe. And it's just nice to be able to skip the whole puzzle aspect of it. This level right here is a cycle-based level. It's also the first introduction to lamps. That's going to be lighting our paths and giving us more puzzle-solving skills. But right here, we seem to have really good movement, so we got the fast cycle for sure for this tram right over here.
Nice.
And gets a nice clean movement for level 6. Lycos, would you like to explain level 7?
Yes, in level 7 we abuse a bit of geometry of the level. We jam a lamp into a slant, and that's basically enough to glitch out the lamp. It jitters around, I don't really know. But if you jump onto it, if we then go to the ledge here, we can reset our jump and just skip half of the level.
Wonderful. This right here in level 8 we see is the core. We're going to be coming back to this area pretty frequently throughout the game. Virgil is going to be talking about it and how it's helping his plans with Lightmatter. But itself, level 8, there's no minor glitches or there's no skips that we do. It's just pure movement. And one thing about this game is there's a lot of satisfying movement, especially once you get to a higher skill level. And there's absolutely no RNG aspects about this game. Everything in the 80% no major glitches category is completely skill. And so, in my opinion, that's a really good reason to try this speedrun out for yourself, because it's really nice to see your own skill improve and to constantly be bettering your movement as you go throughout with this game. It's, in my opinion, pretty beginner friendly. It gets pretty difficult once you want to get to higher times, or even get to a point where you want to reach for a world record, because it's really high in this game. But I recommend my first really serious speed game, and I fell in love with it even as a beginner. Bob, you want to explain this cycle right here?
Yeah, so this upcoming level is another kind of cycle-based level. So basically we want to get in and out of this section in one cycle. So we basically run across here, and when we grab lamps, we're actually not allowed to jump. We're actually not allowed to jump with them. So you kind of just do a quick turn, and then you get through the light through this level, and that's basically it.
Lycos, you want to explain level 10?
Level 10, yes. Here we learn that we can place lamps in darkness or leave them in darkness. So we can place them wherever we want and then just leave them where they are. to come back at a later stage and grab them
The
again.
same glitch found for level 2 also works here. He actually has the world record in this IL, I believe, due to this glitch. It takes around 7 seconds over normally over just doing the level glitchless. However, again, it'll wrong work with level 2. So if that interests you, just running IL, we'd be more than happy to have you for this game. This is the part where we just sit here for about a minute, but I also enjoy trying to get to this area over here because first try. You're not allowed to be in this area, but you can if you just use tiny bits of lights on those sections, you can come in here, and you're technically supposed to just leave through here, but obviously the game doesn't end there, so there's no way we can go. But you do have to die in order to get back to the other side. Speaking of which, for every death that I have, intended or unintended, I will be donating $1 to Lead. So if my commentators or anyone in chat or anyone in staff wants to join me on that, I'd be more than happy to, and raise more money for charity. But
I actually said that if he manages to pull off a 36 skip within 3 tries, I will donate €20.
Yes, 36 skip. We'll get to that much later. But Sylvia, if there's any donations you want to plug or anything else you want to say here, you can.
Alright, I'm just gonna have a look at the donation incentives, if there are any, because there are currently no donations to read.
Alright. What donation incentives do we have here?
Let me just check. Super Mario Sunshine upgrade to all blue coins is currently at 0 of $150, and that's closing in just 5 hours.
Yep. So get those donations in. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Level 1 is a cycle-based level. Again, there's not too much going on for it here. There was a small little time in my speedrunning where I would kind of die to this level for no reason, just because I would mess up the cycles and jump too early or jump too late. But Bobby, would you like to explain this skip right here?
Yeah, so this is basically just resetting to move us a little bit forward. So because we hit a level trigger, we're basically hitting the retry button, which will move us forward in our respawn point for the level. And then coming up here, we have a pretty difficult skip, I would say, would be a rail grind. Basically, we're supposed to kind of zigzag through this area, but we actually just go straight through on these rails, which is not intended by any means.
And actually, it's a lot harder than it looks, because when you're on a rail, the game tries to just push you off one way or another, so you're constantly sliding left to right, so you have to balance it with the left and right keys, or the A and G keys here. But level 13, we're going to a completely different area. Would you like to explain level 13 and onwards, Lycos?
Well, the first one is pretty much just an introduction to the next level, so we know that we can rotate the platform and take the lights with us. The next one is a bit more difficult, but we have 2 skips for it. One is a bit more tricky and not as consistent. I think you're doing the other one. It's a bit slower, but way safer. So we place just both lamps on the side, turn it a bit, and yeah, take them with us faster than intended. And well, I will explain it once you get to the point.
Yeah, it's right here. I'm gonna put this lamp on this fan right here. Okay, now you can explain a bit more in detail.
Yeah, we just turn around this lamp so we can walk again, put this lamp here again, and we stand right on the edge so we can ride with the fan, which is not intended. And then we just put the lamp 90 degrees, this time intended, so it lights up this ramp so we can walk up.
Really clean.
Nice. That was a really clean level 14.
I was gonna say that was super good.
Yeah. Level 15 through like 22 has some of the most satisfying movement for me personally, especially since how quick we're gonna see level 15 being done. Yeah, just gonna grab this lamp right here and move it, and we're kind of taking advantage of how like the cone of light that each lamp produces, and making it so that it lights up both sensors right there. I almost missed it, but not quite. But we're gonna be seeing more examples of that in later levels, and it's just incredibly satisfying movements. Again, a huge reason as to why I would pick up this game is the movement and the really high skill ceiling that this game has. Bobby, you want to explain the skip that we're going to be coming up with right here?
Yeah, so the skip coming up is kind of like it's hard to describe really. Basically, this one coming with the next level, right? Yeah, this one
right here.
Okay. Oh, that one. So yeah, it's basically a quick turn on a light on the wall, basically. So we click the light really quickly, so we can, in between the time that like we're hitting the light on the wall and it's going up, we're turning around and quickly going. It basically avoids using a lamp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fortunately, when you use a lamp in this game, you kind of just the lamp just. Oh, dang! Look at that.
I've done that actually a fair amount. Yeah.
The lamp just kind of the snaps forward in front of you. There's no training involved, so we really make use of that with that skip. Right here, we want to make sure that we don't face away from that sensor. I've had it before where I accidentally, move the lamp just a tiny bit, and it closes the door. But Bobby, you can also explain this trick right here.
Yeah, so this one we're basically using one lamp for what should be two. So this first part is kind of a setup for the next part. So we're basically doing all of this to get one lamp instead of having to work our way around and use both of them. And once we get this one lamp coming up right here, we're going to place it in such a way where we're going to hop on the little areas of light on these desks in order to just get right through the level without getting the second lamp. So we will hop on the desk and in a certain way and then get right through. And the next level is kind of like an iteration of that, but it's probably the hardest level in the game, in my opinion, technically, because it's the same thing, but then there's a pole right above. So I'm gonna shut up and let Ozmourn do this.
There we go.
Nice. Wow. Nice. First try. That's incredibly difficult.
It is really difficult to do. Oh.
I actually don't know how to solve the level intentionally.
Not anymore. Lycos, do you want to explain this trick right here?
Yeah, normally we would have to walk back and forth, like always. But if the lamp is near enough to us, we can lift it up a table. This is exactly what we did here.
Yeah, you don't have to be on the same level as the lamp. As long as you're within distance of it, you can just grab it, and that allows us to skip a bit of puzzle solving in this level right here. And also, a little time save that I did right there is I want to avoid like the white stripes that you see when you go onto certain platforms, because if you were to touch those, it would trigger the grab animation. And so just trying to avoid as many grab animations as possible is pretty slow, builds up throughout the run, the time save. And right here is also the first level that we kind of introduced strafing with lamps. And when the casual players are actually kind of get confused because they didn't realize they have to move with the lamp in like when they were playtesting the game. That was a common problem that they saw, but I'm glad that they kept it in. There's not a lot to say about 21. It's really just a transitional level between 22 and 23. But we are going to be coming back to this, and this little area, 21 and 23 are the same level, just played differently. And we're going to explain a little trick with developers' commentary. But we're going to do level 22. So, Lycos, you want to explain level 22?
22. Yeah, we have moving platforms now, moving the lamps back and forth. So we have to do it right. The developers actually built this level, the upper floor, with Legos first, so they can visualize it and test everything out. And then build the lower floor after that, to make it a bit easier and to give the user, to teach the player what to do. On the bottom one, he placed the lamp on a relatively exact spot, so we can use it later. So now we are on the second floor and we do somewhat of the same movement again, but this time the platforms rotate on the lines instead of going back and forth. Yeah.
Yep, there we go. And yeah, this is probably the biggest level in the game, with the exception of the very last one. And it really goes to show like all the crafting and brains and skill that it took to design a lot of the puzzles in this game. Because when I was playing it for the first time, I was stuck on this room for around 40 minutes, just trying to figure it out. But with that, we're gonna hit this elevator button, and that's it. That's gonna be on the run, right?
We're finally free.
We're finally free.
Yeah, GG. Let's run.
Maybe, yeah, we get saved this time. Oh no. And of course, yellow.
You have no luck with buttons.
Yep, let's get some coffee while we're at it. Yeah.
Gotta fuel up.
Yep, we're gonna fuel up for the rest of the run. We're about halfway through. Well, we're about to get halfway through, other than the last levels. For the first half of the game, and then we're going to introduce to a new mechanic in level 24. But oh, we also forgot to mention Ellen that we see throughout the rest of the game. Ellen's kind of a person who's trying to uncover all the secrets of Lightmatter, trying to foil Virgil and Arthur's plans, because she realizes that a lot of what Lightmatter does is very dangerous to humankind. And you kind of like root for Ellen the entire time. And we actually get to communicate with her later in the game, which is nice. One thing that I really like about this is the storytelling, for sure. That's definitely a selling point. But with that, we're going to just do the bottom floor of level 22 again, but backwards. And that is it. That is the end of level 22. Bobby, do you want to explain the trick that we're going to do in level 23?
Yeah, so the trick coming up is basically why we have the speed run or the developer commentary on. Basically, normally we would keep it on the whole time to save time, but here we basically turn it on and it skips an audio. It skips an audio trigger that would normally happen to open this door, and it just goes like right away. Basically, it just opens the doors automatically.
Yeah, the developers kind of put that in there on purpose because, you know, Virgil is supposed to say something there and then the door opens. But if you grab the developer's commentary, Virgil's line never plays, so therefore it can never stop. And so they just open the door automatically right then and there. But with level 23 out of the way, we're going to be introduced to level 24. And we're going to be introduced to a new mechanic. And that mechanic is... Let's see here. Press this button and we're going to get an orb. Orb, yep. Lycos, you want to explain orbs?
Yeah, orbs, as long as they are connected to a mother source, which is the big thing in the middle there, they create a path all the way of the light beam and underneath the orb, so you can walk in shadows essentially. Even other orbs can connect to a connected orb, so you can triangulate and whatever not. You're pretty much safe if you have at least 2 connections. And we use that to just get up here and around the level.
Unfortunately, the game does not give you more than 2 orbs at a time for any level, which is, in my opinion, I do like the way that they flesh out a lot of the puzzles in this game, but I feel like they could have done a lot more if they had a bit more photon crystals, like 3 or 4 for one puzzle. I feel like they could have explored a lot with more in it. But for this level right here, we're going to really push the limits of how far we can pull these orbs. If you're seeing that it's red right here, it means that the line's about to break, and so we really push the limits as to how far we want these orbs to go so that we can skip a few lamp placements. And right here, we're also going to be doing a rail grind. And when you do a rail grind after going on a moving platform, if you do it right, you can actually keep the velocity that you have on the moving platform and rail grind a bit faster. We're going to see another example of that in, I think, level 29. But with that, that's level 25. Level 26, Lycos, would you like to explain level 26?
The orb. Yes, we can basically call back the platform and jump a bit early on it. Already saves time. After that, we just get the lamp to go to the other side to get another lamp. And if we place this first lamp right, we no, I'm too far. We have to move the mother source to the other side, so we just go around here, and this is one of the only rail grinds you can do in the shadows. Others would also kill you. But now that we have the mother source on the other side, we can, make the beam pretty red to.
I enjoy pushing the limits of how far that one orb can go, just so we can be as safe as possible when we're going towards the end of the level. Bob, you want to explain 27?
Yeah, so this level specifically is it's more or less you just like walk through it, kind of. Once you know like where to put stuff, it's really just all about angles, right? So you can see we're constantly connecting the beams. You basically just need to put these in the exact right spot where you're always in view of that mother source. And as you can tell, the beams, I don't know if we've talked about this specifically yet, but the beams actually go through glass. So as long as you're within view of another connector or mother source, you're basically just walking through this level in order to get both of these connectors to the very end like this.
Yep. And as for the most part, 27 was pretty much as intended. Again, like Bobby said at the beginning, a lot of what we do is intended, just done really fast, so it looks impressive.
Yeah.
But, Bobby, you can also explain a level 28 skip right here.
Yeah, so this skip, basically, we're going to be putting one of these connectors in such a way where we only need one of them. A lot of the skips are kind of just avoiding, like, having to get every single piece where, we're just basically skipping one of the steps. So this is kind of one of them. So this connector is going to be put right on this corner, and then we will never have to pick that up again. So we're grabbing this one and we're going all the way to the other side in a way where we can just hop right over this upcoming shadow and not have to, grab the second one. So it saves like 10 seconds or so.
Yep. And we're going to really just push limits right here. And if you have a good ear, you might have heard Still Alive from Portal playing right there. And there was also another mention of Aperture Sciences earlier in the run. And so you can see that with the blessing of Valve, the developers for Lightmatter really wanted to incorporate into the Portal universe, which I find really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
Lycos, would you like to explain level 29?
I don't think there's much to explain because everything we do here is intended. We don't have found any skip for this. But we have to bring both connectors to the other side of this wall. So we have to move the wall back and forth with these buttons and walk to the back and the front of the wall. It's relatively slow. I don't really like that level. But
none of us really do, to be honest.
Yeah, we don't have a skip yet.
Yeah, it's one of the more boring levels, unfortunately, within No Major Glitches. I think even in any percent with the loading displacement, they still do the majority of this level, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
The trigger is only at the end.
Yeah, it's only at the end. So with that, we're just doing a lot of back and forth. The most interesting thing I can say about this is that there have been reports of a lot of casual players and as well as runners when they put the ores a bit too close to each other, they sometimes get stuck there, and so you soft lock yourself out of the rest of the level. And so
it's ruined so many of my runs. Yes,
it has. And so even when we're trying to go fast, you still want to be pretty careful about where you're placing a lot of your orb, just to make sure stuff like that doesn't happen. Lycos, could you also tell me what you think about level 30?
Yeah, level 30, also not one of my favorites, but it's way better. We basically turn the platform a bunch. We somewhat have to count so we don't over or under press the button. Happened to me, happened to the others a lot of times, so we had to do a full rotation again, losing time. But yeah, we just want to get the orb on the right side of the bridge, so we can keep it to the other side. And that's basically it.
Yeah, even though this kind of looks like a pretty easy level, admittedly, I've had a few runs die here because my brain immediately goes on autopilot when I'm spam clicking to just move the buttons. And so sometimes I would move them I would move the platforms too much or too little, and I would place the lamp in wrong. I would place the orb in wrong places, and so it would just kill my run because it would lose It would lose around like 10 seconds to have to do another full rotation of the platform, and so even moments like that, unfortunately, can be small run killers. You're kind of always on your toes in this run, which can be a blessing and a curse. But for level 31, that's it. That's the end of the run, right?
Finally, the end of the run. There we go.
To the end.
Yep, we press that button. That bridge is going to come across, and that bridge is going to come across, and we're going to walk over there to that exit, and that's going to be the end of the game.
Nice button press, by the way. It was really, really good.
Thank you. I don't think this is going to backfire in any way, shape, or form. We're going to just walk the safety.
You should have pressed that button with more finesse.
Really?
Right, more finesse. That was the problem. Well, time to do the rest of the level, the rest of the game. Well, coming up with level, we have our movement speed, slowed down a bit because, we're injured, even though it just goes back up again in level 32, because we walked it off. But Bobby, you mind explaining level 32 script?
Yeah, so Ozmourn is going to be doing the strategy that I do. So basically, there's a way where you can play this very safe and go back and forth between these two doors, but we're basically going to be abusing this red line kind of thing, or the red light that we're using. So we're going to be we're stretching these lights as far as we can go and jumping around in such a way where we can basically just skip taking these connectors out of the room entirely. And, we're able to just kind of finesse these around and, just get out of the level really quickly.
Yeah, there is a way that you can do that without going back to move that other orb in order to make a straighter line. However, it's very difficult. I've had so many runs die. In my opinion, the hardest trick in the game. I've had so many runs die to it. But as we see here, we're going to see another rail grind that we keep our velocity in due to moving platforms. But other than that, we're just going to move around here. If there's a donation or anything you want to plug, Sylvia, now is the time.
Alright, well, second verse same as the first, looks like. But also, I think I've heard that once we reach, and this is just like 1,000, like right now, 130-ish away. But like once the marathon total reaches 1,500, we have a Bug Snacks any % run that can get run.
Ooh.
All right, get that Bug Snacks any % in. We love to see it. Yeah. But anyway, a quick photosensitivity warning for any of you that are either photosensitive or watching this in the dark with your phone. We're about to get the entire screen is about to just be white, just a giant flash of white. So we'll tell you when it's safe to look back. Yep, there it is. The whole screen just turns white. I've actually had a run be on PB pace, and then it just stays on this white screen, which is like the most annoying thing. Yeah. It's like the most annoying thing ever. But as we see here, we learn that shadows aren't that bad. It's just the shiny or the gooey shadows that are bad. But we're just going to be able to walk through these shadows real quick. And right through this next room, we're going to see where the shadows are really killing us. It's just the parts that eat organic materials, as shadows do. Lycos, you mind explaining 35?
Yeah, 35. 35 actually has a nice little secret. Come to that in a bit. We just have to get the lamp around to open the door and make it stay open. So we can grab the third light and see these little figures here. Maybe some of you know them, these two.
Yep.
The little turret
nice
and the... What?
You got a nice eye. I went through it pretty quickly.
Yeah, so the little turret and the companion cube. But other than that, this level is pretty simple. And we can just walk through here with the lamp
It feels,
placements.
yeah. If it feels like we're going like back and forth or in circles, that's just kind of like because we know what we're doing, you know. A lot of the puzzles in this game casually can really be a hindrance, or really hard to solve, you know. Okay, so because Lycos said he would donate $20 if I get this, we're gonna try and do level 36 skip. It's the most inconsistent skip in the game, and what we're gonna see is we're gonna rail grind across that rail over there and try to get up to the other end while holding the orb. Actually, hold up. We're gonna try it 3 times. We're gonna try and rail grind across this and get to the other end. All right, let's see. Oh, dang it. Okay,
It's
That's
so
number 1.
incredibly difficult.
It's
okay.
already hard to rail grind this long
exactly.
section, but the inconsistent part is getting back up,
Oh, dear.
because once you lose speed, you can't get back up anymore, and we don't actually know what makes us go up. Yeah, that's the problem. Now he has
nope.
no speed anymore and he can't get up anymore.
All right, gotta die. We're gonna try it one more time.
You can
I
do
forgot
it.
to hit the. Oh, I forgot to hit the button again. We're wasting time, but it's fine.
Well, if you
Right.
do it on the first try, you save something between 20 and 30 seconds.
Oh my god, I did it!
Yes, you get
Oh
it.
my.
Oh my
20
god.
euros from me then.
Wow.
Oh my god. God, that's great.
Now I need the link. Where's the link?
Someone clip that, please. That's great. That's so much harder than it looks because you can't jump, and we found so many ways to and there's no consistent way to do that. We don't know like what causes it to have a little bump in the road where it allows you to get pushed off onto the platform, but that is pretty much like the hardest thing in the game, the most inconsistent thing in the game, and we managed to do it in the middle of the marathon 3rd try, not 1st try. Hopefully in a marathon I'll be able to get a 1st try, but you know, it's lucky. It's amazing that we even got it at all. So, but Bobby, do you want to explain 37?
Yeah, so basically this last level. Oh, sorry, I was muted. I was sneezing.
Okay.
Basically in this last round, it's a big level, and there's a lot of different ways that you can do it. Basically, all you're trying to do is send these platforms back and forth, right? So you're trying to get all of the, like, similar to like a lot of the puzzles, you're trying to get the pieces towards the end so you can get through, right? And so this specific way abuses the lamps, or excuse me, the pieces on the ground being just out of the way of the wall, where we can just slide on past. As you'll see right here, we grab the photon connector, we go all the way around, and then plonk them both right here, and that's basically it.
Yep. And with that, that is the end of the main game. We're gonna get straight into level 38, the very last level, and the longest level of the game. It's a giant escape sequence, which is gonna be fun. But right here, we're gonna do the exact same trick that we did at the beginning of level 12, and we're just gonna retry because the beginning of the level is after this elevator sequence, and so it saves a good amount of time.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, yeah, a 2-minute cutscene. We could just skip a 2-minute cutscene like that. Unfortunately, we don't get to skip this 2-minute cutscene. But Lygos, do you mind explaining some of the technicalities of level 38 while we're waiting here?
Yeah, for this first room, we have a theoretical skip. He's already trying it, but no one has ever pulled it off. The only death plane in this room is this camera. In the previous version, we could double jump up there, but yeah, that's patched. If we would die in that room, the lever would reset and we could flick it a second time, triggering the escape, so the door would open. Other than that, all the middle of the room is one piece, and everything behind the scenes is loaded in separately. So everything in the middle is on a global timer, and everything in behind the newly loaded rooms, this is in the room timer. So even if we lose time in 1 or 2 spots, the room times will always be consistent.
Anything you want to add, Bobby?
No, that pretty much covered it, I would say. I just really like this last level. It's just so different than anything else in the game, which I love, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's also the first level that we kind of like, it's kind of where Virgil's actively trying to kill you as you go through. But we're going to see that he doesn't really succeed in certain parts. But I've had had pretty bad level 38s lately, so we're going to see how well that goes through. But anyway, again, as this entire level is built up with a series of cycles, and so we want to get as many fast cycles as possible. And just because, and as Lego said, it's loaded into chunks, and so the cycles are room dependent or chunk dependent. And so just because you miss one cycle doesn't mean you're going to miss the next or the next one after that. It's all kind of separate from each other. And also, this level has like fast respawns. So when you're starting out, dying in this level isn't really like all that detrimental for time loss because of how quickly you respawn in comparison to the rest of the game. I feel like your speed is also increased ever so slightly in this level. I feel like I kind of noticed that when you load in. But that could just be... Oh, it is, yeah. Okay. I didn't notice that. All right.
Yeah.
But with that, we're going to go into level 38.
And I think here we are just jumping over shadows, but I think we have another donation, don't we?
Do we, Sylvia?
Well, let's just see here. It appears we have a $1 donation from Zopni that says, "Love Peak R," must be a reference to an emote of some sort. And we have $20 from Lycos VK that says, "Level 30 skip, GG. Now take my 20 euros."
Wonderful. Ooh, I almost went a bit early there.
Well played. That was a pretty hype skip.
Yeah. Wonderful. All right. As we can see, we're going through these fast cycles here. I don't know if Bobby wants to be a bit more descriptive on some of these fast cycles that we're explaining here.
Sure. I mean, this one is again kind of like one of those global cycle things, right? So you're able to go through this entire hallway in just one get a jump. Oh, that was really, really good. In one quick cycle. And here's kind of another thing as well. You can get through this room in 2 movements, like here. Perfect. That's awesome. So a lot of people, it takes like a few of these like rotations, but for speedrunners, it really only takes 2 instead of like multiple. And yeah, it's just really quick movement and timing is this last level really.
Yep. All right. A bit of another photosensitivity warning for all the times we pull this lever. There's going to be a small flash of white light. Not quite right here because we're going to be facing away, but every time that we pull a lever and kind of overload the core, there is going to be a bit of white light. So just a warning for anyone who's photosensitive. Anyway, we're going to see if we can get the fast cycle for these platforms over here. I think we do. Oh, that's nice. We did. Wonderful. And so we kind of just go through here. Virgil, do you mind? Not Virgil, Lycos. Do you mind explaining a bit more about what Virgil's doing to us in this level?
Well, in the beginning, we were a visitor, just to see what Lightmatter really is. After that, we became a journalist in Virgil's eyes. He then, made us his, what is it? Not teammate.
His assistant?
Assistant, yes. He made us his assistant because I've forgotten his name. Isn't good enough anymore.
James
isn't good enough anymore. And now that we are trying to overload the core, we are now a spy. So he tries actively to kill us.
Yeah. We don't even know who we are in this game, much less Virgil, you know? Right here, we're going to do a skip again. Shout out to our glitch hunter, Ralcor. He found so much useful stuff in this game. But right here, developers kind of forgot to put a death plane right here. Oh, but I fell down. But the developers kind of forgot to put a death plane right here on these inner pipes. So if you are fast enough, you can just jump over here to the end of the level right there. It's great. But with that, we're just going to keep going. Again, Virgil is trying to just actively kill you at this point because he thinks you're a spy. And there's also a secret ending to this specific game that you can unlock in this very last level. However, you're going to have to pay attention to some of the dialogue, and that's pretty much all I'll say. You know, I don't want to spoil how it goes.
It's pretty interesting story-wise.
It really is. It unlocks a lot of lore.
That's
That's
what
one the hardest skip, going first when he says not to.
Anyway, let's see here. All right, again, we're gonna try and avoid some of these ledge grabs right here. Oh well, we avoided the first one mostly. And Bobby, you want to explain this small little skip?
Yeah, so this skip basically, you're trying to grab onto a specific little ledge instead of going all the way around. So perfect, nice, hopping over this. You skip I'd say 3 or 4 seconds of going around that other area, and instead you just grab onto that little ledge. Like saves a few seconds here and there.
Yep.
I mostly just love this level because you move so quickly. I just love like the quick movement. It's such a contrast to all the other levels.
There's also no lamps or orbs. It's just pure platforming.
Right.
Yeah. But we're gonna get right here. We're gonna try and get another fast cycle. The thing is about the thing that I kind of have a love-hate relationship with about when it comes to this game, it's just how on your toes you are all the time. If there's not really a point in the run where you're just like, oh, I've gone past this point, now it's
right
here. No, it's like you're always on your toes. But we got this fast cycle, great. And there's one more fast cycle that we can get at the very end here. I feel like there should be a way to get this one. But there's just no, like, it feels like you should be able to jump onto there as it comes up. But not even the world record run, I believe, gets that. But right here, we're going to jump on that lift. And with that, that should be the last quick cycle of the game. And that is the last trick of the run.
Nice.
Time is not coming up yet, but we just got to go through this small little auto-scroller here. But here we see that James, Virgil's assistant, has come to help him. As you can see, he's like right up there. You see, he's a big guy. He's a big buff guy. He'd probably beat us up if he wanted to, but with a nice little twist of events, he's actually not going to hurt us. He's here to help us. He's here to destroy a lot of Virgil's equipment and finally get some autonomy for himself, which is great. Good on him for escaping a toxic work environment. But other than that, that is Lightmatter, any percent no major glitches. Time is going to come up when I pull this lever at the very end of this hallway. But thank you so much to Speed Stuff for Charity for having me. It's just been an amazing run. I feel like this is a really good run.
Yeah.
And time, that is it. This has felt like a really good run. I think that was a 4504, 4505 IGT, which is how we also calculate it. Not a PB, but it has been better than literally all of my practice runs. So I'm pretty proud of that. That's 6 deaths, so that's $6 to charity from me, and $20 from Lycos because I got a level 36 skip. That's great. But again, thank you so much to Speed Stuff for Charity Games. And everyone in everyone in the crew, and all the runners, and all the donators, everyone involved in this event somehow. They help make this a wonderful experience for us. Thank you for letting us show off this game. I love showing off this game. Every time I revisit it, it reminds me of like why I love speedrunning and why I get into speedrunning. Bobby, Lycos, thank you so much for being here. Thanks to Varin in restreaming. I wanted to shout them out real quick. Thanks to Sylvia for hosting. Bobby, Lycos, is there anyone or anything you want to plug or shout out before we head out?
No, just shout out to Ozmourn for inviting me and Lycos to the run, and thanks for showing off Lightmatter in an awesome way. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Ozmourn. It was really fun. If you want to play this game, it has 15 levels for free on Steam. This is a demo. And you can just join the Discord inside of the game or go on our speedrun site.
Yes, we're a very small community. And so we would love to have more people be involved in this game in any way, shape, or form, whether it be glitch hunting or running ILs or running full game. Choose what you want to do with it. We have multiple categories, and it's absolutely amazing. We'd love to see new people come in. And shout outs to, Rebel Rose, Ralcor, Arrow, Snowy Moogle, Anyone else that is actively participating in the shout out to the developers of this game for making a wonderful Discord server, and for us to have our little pocket of the game. Here are the developers right here in this last image. But other than that, thank you again to Speed Suffer Charity for having us, and enjoy the next run with Unravel 2. But that's it for me. Thank you so much.